Hello, cigar smokers of the world. Well, okay, of my little world. It's time for another review. Yes, I know it's been a little while since I've done one. Uh, you try moving and seeing how much free time you have. Plus, I started a new job within days of us moving. I've just kind of been getting things rolling, getting things together, and I know I've done like one in the month I've been here. So here's a second one: an Aganorsa leaf, La Valediction, Connecticut. Um, I have to say, stole this from my wife's humidor. When she finds out, she'll probably beat me senseless. But hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So let's see what the dry brings us. Oh, it's very earthy and not hay, but more grassy, almost like fresh mown grass. Dry Ant Hill has some sweetness, more of that earthy, grassy flavor. Maybe a touch of espresso even. I do like the dry inhale on this. But let's light this puppy and see what we got. Got a piece of cedar today. I got a piece of cedar today to light it with. I don't know if that got lit fully. I'll just touch it up with this. It was a very small piece of cedar. It burnt quickly and burnt my finger. First impressions: nose tingle, very mild. Mouthfeel is not that full, but definitely some creaminess there. Wonderful flavor profile. Like I said, even very much mimics the dry with some sweetness, the hay, a little bit of coffee slash espresso. First couple of puffs, very, very delightful. It also has some spice to it. I can feel that in my throat, actually. Not that I'm inhaling, but, right, more like the back of the tongue. I guess I can feel that. Sense that spice more. Well, let's see what the Aganorsa Leaf site has to say. The Validacion is the quintessential Nicaraguan cigar, spicy, bold, and rich. A perfect cigar to pair with your favorite brown spirit after a heavy meal. You won't find a better Habano wrapped cigar on the market. The strength is 3 out of 5, medium. The Kappa is Connecticut, Ecuador. The Banda in Capote is Aganorsa, Nicaragua, and the Tripa is Aganorsa, Nicaragua. Let's see if I can find someone else that might have something to say. Here's what Cigars International has to say about it. Aganorsa Leaf is an absolute powerhouse in the cigar industry, producing some of the best tobacco in the game with some old school Cuban techniques. Being utilized in some of the most popular blends only adds to their credibility. So when they decided to release their own blends under the Aganorsa brand, we got a little excited to say the least. Released with 4 wrapper variations, let us introduce you to Aganorsa Leaf La Validation, Connecticut. Ecuadorian Connecticut wrap cigars have been at the pinnacle of the industry for a long time, for being smooth, flavorful, and consistent. And in the hands of the Aganorsa team, it gets taken to the next pedigree. This golden brown Connecticut wrapper is draped over a Nicaraguan binder and long fillers to create an enjoyable medium bodied experience with hints of cream and wood. The Validacion Connecticut can be enjoyed at any time of day. Pick a few and knock them down in the morning, afternoon, and at night, and see what I'm talking about. So, they say cream and wood. I got earth and some creamy, but there's a little bit of spice in there too. Hey folks, how you doing? As you all know, my standard format is to light the cigar, give a first review, tell you something about the cigar from the manufacturer and or from another review, see what they have to say. Then a midway and an end. But someone said to me that they found that this my format was nice because it felt like they were having a conversation with me, or I was having more of a conversation with them. But I decided maybe it's time for me to try to be a little more dynamic. So from now on, I'm going to try and do a little piece, probably between the lighting slash manufacturer information and the midway point. It's just me talking about things. Mostly it'll probably be cigar related. I don't know. Um, some of it will just be things that are on my mind. Some things may be controversial. Con- Controversial. Yeah, it may not agree with everyone. um, but I figure I'm going to make it a little more like having a conversation. And my first uh, my first foray into this today is going to be tell you about my top three all-time cigars I've ever had, um, which I don't believe any of them have been reviewed on this site yet. I hope to someday get to them, but sometimes they're rare cigars, sometimes they're ones that are hard to get a hold of, and sometimes I just haven't gotten around to it. So let's get started with that. Well, I now have three cigars picked out that I would call my all time top three. Um, two and three are very, very close, but I think I'll go with number three being LFD Andalusian Bull. Um, one of the reasons that hasn't been reviewed here is that it's a rare cigar, doesn't come out a lot, and is expensive. And I just haven't gotten around to it. I love the Andalusian Bull. I find it very complex, um, yet smooth. It's it's an amazingly well put together cigar. The shape is unique. It's a graduated torpedo, I guess you could call it. It kind of starts out thick and then really goes slender, um, but not very quick like some torpedoes. Um, I will try to throw up a picture of it here. Next on my list is one of my all-time go-tos. This is the Plasencia Almafuerte, uh, the six-sided box press Maduro. This cigar is almost perfect. It's so complex. I love the six-sided box press. I love the smoke. I love the retrohale. I love everything about this cigar, and it is just an amazing cigar to have. And but again, it hasn't been reviewed because it is rather expensive. Finally, my top all-time cigar, and this is going to be unique, is one I've only had one of in my life. One. I was in a cigar club. I may have mentioned it, may not have. They're called the Cigar Hacks. I'm no longer a member of said group, but that's a story for another video. Anyways, uh, La Rosa Negra Toro Maduro, the finest cigar I've ever had in my life. It was complex, it was flavorful, it kept its flavor and its complexity all the way through, not changing much. It was an amazing cigar. We had it on the a podcast. Uh, I believe I gave it a 98, which is the highest I've ever given anything. You know, a 98 or a 9.8. It was unfortunate that I've only had one, and the reason I haven't reviewed it here is that it was a localized cigar down in Southeast that a friend brought back some that we reviewed. When I get a little money ahead, I hope to get in touch with the people and get a box or two or 10. But yeah, I hope to someday get some more of those. Those were, without a doubt, the best I've ever had. And for fun, I'm going to throw in the biggest disappointment. So, a couple years ago, Rocky Patel, and the story goes that there was a pile of tobacco in the back of one of his curing barns down in Nicaragua or Honduras or wherever the hell it was that was forgotten about. It had been there, I don't know, 8, 10 years, something like that. And the chances of that being true are probably slim to none, but that's how the story goes. Anyways, that, as you may already know, became the conviction. A friend of mine bought a box of 10 for $1,000. Yes, he went all out, uh, and then raffled them off. And it was a free raffle for a bunch of friends that were to get that had gotten together. About 20 of us, so about 8 of us got a cigar from him, and I happened to get one. And I put it in my humidor and let it sit for a while. And then on my birthday, I finally had it. It was a $18 to $25 cigar. It was not $100 cigar. It was most disappointing. It was more one dimensional than complex. It was harsh at times, especially near the end, and it just wasn't what I would pay $100 for. I know there are other cigars out there worth $100 that charge $100 that are worth it. Uh, and someday I hope to review those too. But anyways, those are my best and biggest disappointment cigars. Well, I'll be back in a little bit for the halfway through review. Well, folks, I'm about halfway through, and this has been very consistent. Nose feel is a little more strong, but still very pleasant. Mouthfeel hasn't changed, still not the fullest, but definitely still a bit creamy. Tastes have turned a bit more spicy. Still have that earthiness to it, that wood, I guess, from what they were saying. I was saying more of a grassy, but I can see the wood. Um, like I said, a little more peppery, but so far I'm enjoying this. I will probably give it fairly good rating if it doesn't change for the worse. But I will be back at the end for the final review. Well, folks, I'm down to the final bit here. The nose tingle is actually lessened some now in the last third here, and the mouthfeel is more creamy, more full-bodied. The spice has also lessened a bit here. Um, Still get that woody, grassy, earthy flavor to it. It's actually, the flavors remain very consistent throughout. I'm very pleased. Uh, Given that I'm not a Connecticut fan usually, I've been very pleased by this. I'm going to give it a 8.9 or an 89 on the Wild Will scale, and I think if you are a Connecticut fan, you will enjoy this cigar very, very much. Aganorsa Leaf La Validacion is well put together. Didn't need to relight. Cap stayed fairly well. Uh, yeah, go ahead and get yourself one if you want to try a good Connecticut. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and light them if you got them.